you just what I was there for. You heard me sing a prayer for someone I really did care for. Wow, 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 wow. And then suddenly...
There was this advert in the Melody Maker, and the guy was putting 6 guys together to form a vocal band. And I went for the audition and got in. And that band was called Brooks. And we released, I think it was 6 records.
16 years ago, they still remember when. What a great night for falling in love. I love you madly. Let my imagination run away badly. A brand new...
And where Bucks Fizz records went gold and silver and platinum, unfortunately Brooks's records didn't even go black.
Seaside rendezvous. Give us a kiss.
When I went to theatre school, I trained as an actress, and I always wanted to be a movie actress. I started doing gigs at 14 and going to theatre school in the day and gigging at night. Doing cabaret. My mum had this, oh God, I'll tell you. There was this act called Take Off, and the idea was we were air hostesses and we went round the world and we did songs and dances from all the different countries. And I started teaching dance and fitness in St Helier, and a lady approached me to run kind of a pineapple dance studio in Jersey. My life suddenly went out of show business into more of a business.
I was in the West End playing pilot in the last 6 months of the run of Jesus Christ Superstar. I had a building business which I was still running. I was working in the West End, but I could still run my business and still had to run my business because there was no money in the West End. It was in the gap before the tour, which was starting in the spring. By that time, they'd already offered me the part of pilot. The advert for Bucks Fizz was placed, and I went for the audition. I thought it would be a short-term, maybe one-off TV appearance.
When I was with Coco, I joined them in October, I think was my first gig, in 1975, and within months, I was appearing with them at the Albert Hall in my first ever Song for Europe.
Here's Coco with the song they hope is going to represent Britain. It's called Wake Up.
It was all between Coco and Brotherhood of Man, and we lost in the end, of course, when they sang Save Your Kisses for Me, but we lost by 2 points. So it could have been Coco in 1976 representing the UK.
Wake up. Shout, shout, call out to me.
1978, Coco once again entered Song for Europe and won. And we did the Eurovision in France with a song called The Bad Old Days.
The bad old days. The bad old days. You put all the good inside of me.
Hey! Good luck in Eurovision. That's Coco and The Bad Old Days.
I was in a band called Rags with Jill, who managed Bucks Fizz, and another friend of ours called Steve Glenn.
When we sort of stopped performing, we both went the other side of the camera. So I opened an agency and management company, and she opened a publishing company. And then she subsequently met Andy, and together they put some songs into A Song for Europe.
If you were a songwriter at that time, part of the sort of the songwriting calendar, if you like, was trying to put a song in for Eurovision. I just sat up all night one time with the help of various substances and things. We just came up with Making Your Mind Up. I mean, it was just done overnight.
And she rang me up after lunch saying, "You'll never guess what, we have 2 songs in the final of A Song for Europe in 1981. And I've put these 2 groups down as the groups that sing, and we don't have the groups." And one she'd put down as Bucks Fizz, and the other one she'd put down as Gem.
Apparently she'd been drinking a Bucks Fizz when they did the demo.
I put myself in Bucks Fizz originally. Originally I was building the band around myself and Mike Nolan, and I desperately wanted Cheryl because I'd seen her on a Eurovision before, and she wasn't singing the lead and she was featured very little, but I can always remember she had this little skull cap on with sequins, and she had this divine face. It was like the girl next door, but also very, very, very pretty.
We knew of Cheryl from previous Song for Europes, so she called Cheryl.
And her mother answered the phone, and I said, "Oh, is Cheryl there, please?" And she said, "Hold on a minute, love. Ray! Ray! Ray!" And then she came back, she said, "She's on the lav, love."
I wasn't all that taken with her. I thought she was a bit of a snob.
And I sent several people from my agency along to sing for Nicola and Andy, and so they could see them. And that's how they chose Jay.
Now, my brother had done Song for Europe the year before in a group called Prima Donna, and he had only come second in Eurovision. And his career had taken a complete nosedive as a result of only coming second.
And I didn't know who to have, Jay or Cheryl. And I thought I was a little bit vocally more like Cheryl. And Jay had sort of the deeper voice and was more raunchy. And I could see that the two of them together in Bucks Fizz would be better than me and Cheryl.
If Nicola had been in the group, I don't think it would have been successful. Her best asset is her business.
I heard the song, Making Your Mind Up. I didn't much care for it, but I thought it would be a good Eurovision song.
I remember thinking it was annoyingly catchy.
It sounds like an advert because it actually is a little advert. It was written as a jingle and it was extended to put in for the Eurovision.
Obviously, if you're going to try and win Eurovision, you get one go at it. 3 minutes to change your life.
And there was nothing really wrong with it, but it didn't stand out as the greatest work of art, to be fair.
They liked the fact that I was the right height, because we were all kind of built around Mike Nolan. We all had to be about 5'7", and I was with my heels on.
We put an advert in the stage in the end for the other boy.
But she forgot to put into the advert that the guy must be no taller than 5'8", because 6'2" guys were turning up and they didn't even get a chance to sing because there's like looking up at them like that. They were really tall. I mean, I'm not small. I'm not tall either.
The boy that was in Bardo was our first choice and turned it down.
He actually didn't have any studio technique at all when he sung. He was a very theatre singer, so he tended to project and sing very loud, and it wasn't the right sound. So they were better off having Bobby. Even though the rest of the band probably wished he wasn't in it, I think they were better off having Bobby.
She wanted a choreographer that was very sort of hip at the time, and I suggested Chrissy Wickham to her.
Unlike anything I've done in the rest of my life, there were people queued up in the dance centre at the windows just to watch them. I mean, it was exciting. I think we knew all along it was going to be a hit. It was going to be good, a good Eurovision number.
To me, Eurovision is exactly what it sounds. It's vision. It's all about visual.
There was a bit of a panic on the morning of the contest because I got into my office and I was told that that there was going to be a strike at the BBC. They were blacking out the Song for Europe, and so there wasn't going to be any chance of anybody seeing the routine. So you can imagine how I felt when I heard that. Anyway, I went over to the theatre in Shepherd's Bush, took the champagne and orange juice to wish everybody luck, and about halfway through the afternoon, we found out that that the particular union involved had said, we're not going to black out the Song for Europe, it's a national contest, and what we don't want to do is make the nation suffer.
Times like this, I wish I had a better act.
I put myself in another song, playing keyboards extremely badly, and and singing, doing backup vocals with an absolutely fabulous song.
The song I loved was the one Andy and Nicola did in that Eurovision the same time as we were on, wasn't it? Have You Ever Been in Love?
And it was the most harrowing experience of my life. I'd never performed before, ever, you know, in public at all. And so my debut was performing live on Song for Europe. And I remember I'd taken these pills called beta blockers that a throat specialist gave me. And he said, yeah, these will keep you pretty calm. Just take one about an hour before you perform. So I just took them all day.
He took so many beta blockers on the night, I thought you couldn't get a pulse off him. I thought he died.
And it was really weird because I was so cold and totally calm, but my voice was still all quivery.
None of the people that knew the songs at the time thought that Bucks Fizz were going to win with Making Your Mind Up, because Have You Ever Been in Love was such a beautiful song that Andy had written.
It was almost too good. It was too good a song.
That, in terms of song, you know, is fantastic, but it obviously isn't a Eurovision song.
Subsequently, in years past, then won an Ivor Novello Award as a song.
Song 5, Making Your Mind Up.
Nicola had sort of strong ideas about, you know, the sort of thing that she wanted to dress them in, that she wanted these bright primary colours. And it was very popular at the time to have sort of velour tracksuits, very 80s. So she went and got the boys' sweatshirts, which were blue and green, from the dance centre, just bought them off the peg. And the girls' costumes were made in the primary colours of yellow and red for Jay and Cheryl.
If you're listening to 60 songs, all in one hit, all unknown, you need visual to remind yourself of the song. That's what will make you remember something, not just the sound. I mean, if I played A Man in the Street 10 songs, it's unlikely you remember any of them.
Who suggested pulling the skirts off?
Basically, Cheryl and I had different ideas about what we should wear. And I think it was an ongoing thing that we never really agreed on our outfits. And I thought we should wear mini skirts, thought we should show our knees, and Cheryl wanted to wear long skirts because she wasn't so keen to show her legs.
And the discussion was, is it a 50s song or is it a 60s song? If it was 50s, it's rock and roll with the knee-length sort of swing skirts.
I said, well, no, I really think we should do the minis, you know, we'll get more points.
And it was going on, and I thought, oh, blimey.
Cheryl said, well, all right, then we'll rip them off in the middle. And I went, yeah, it's a great idea.
I actually thought it was Nicola's idea.
We wore these rags, like cloaks of rags, masses and masses and masses of rags. And we went on stage with just these cloaks on like this with our hands underneath and sang this song. And in the middle of the song, we did this routine where we went this way, that way, and then we threw them off. And there we were in what could only be described as kind of satin petrol pump attendant outfits, white. And that's where the idea came for Bucks Fizz to throw off their skirts.
Then someone else said, no, it wasn't Nicola's idea, it was my idea.
The one stumbling block was that Jill wanted them to wear 60s long skirts that swirled, and it helped Cheryl. And Nicola wanted little tiny mini 60s skirts that, of course, made Jay look fantastic. And it just was quite by chance in rehearsal in about the second day. I thought, well, it's quite easy, actually. We'll just have both. Start in the long dresses, and on the words, you want to see some more, pull skirts off.
I can't remember who it was.
It certainly wasn't my idea, I know that.
I don't think it was Cheryl. It might have been Cheryl. You see, there's no point in going on about it. In the end, I don't know whose idea it was. In fact, I think it was Cheryl's.
And it proved to be a really show-stopping part of the show.
If the public hadn't seen the performance, then it wouldn't have had the same impact.
We were in a band called Beyond and thought we had a really strong song called Wish. We were very confident in the song because we thought it was probably one of the best ballads we'd heard. When we heard the Fizz song, weren't that impressed, but then on the dress rehearsal day, Fizz did their fantastic rip the skirts off. And once they ripped the skirt off, quite frankly, I think we all held our hands up and went, that's it.
We won the Song for Europe by a landslide.
The song that's going to go on to represent the United Kingdom at the Eurovision Song Contest in Dublin very shortly is song number 5, Bucks Fizz, with 97 points, Making Your Mind Up.
Remember when we did the Song for Europe, I said we're going to walk this, and we did.
I suppose it didn't really sink in because you always think, oh great, it's one Song for Europe, but the chances of winning the actual Eurovision are so few and far between.